Do you have faith that 50, 200 years, as fast as technology moves, 5 yeyears, that at some point it's possible that somebody could come up with an alternative to death? Be that what is that? Not Elon Musk. The theory, the I can't think of the term for when we can pass on to robots and we become robots and then it's not a problem anymore.
Transhumanism, or the singularity. Mm-hmm. So the Scorpion Rules and the Swan Riders are about transhumanism and the singularity. And in my book, of course, it turns out to be at the very least, complicated idea, if not an outright bad idea. I don't know what those. I don't pay a lot of attention to. I like neuroscience a lot, but it's something that I just read about. It's not something that I do or have any expertise or talk to experts in. But the more I read, the more I'm like, you guys don't have any idea what's going on in the brain. Just none. We just, we're barely scratching the surface of how the mind works. The idea that we might be able to synthesize it somehow and encode it and move it, I think that could be quite a ways off.
Well, the thing that bothers me about that is even if you can do it perfectly and you put all of my brain and my essence in this new robot, mm-hmm. That robot that thinks it's me is going to have a nice life. I'll be here dying. Bye. You have a wonderful time. Hook up with the robot they made of my wife. You guys are going to get along fabulously. You're working on the problem of how to potentially overcome this issue of death at some point. Mm-hmm. Where's the smart money? Where are you thinking that we might find a solution?
I don't think there is a solution to death. I think we're mortal and we die and it means something. And what and how we cope with it is one of the great human questions. And I don't think technology has the answer to it. I mean, suppose we were all suddenly immortal. Does that sound like a bad idea?
Well, I've always heard that, and I'm a skeptic on this point, because I always hear that the reason that life is so wonderful is because it's finite. It has an ending, and that makes all of this more special. And I say, yes, but isn't that exactly the argument that a person that has no say in the matter would have to make to live peacefully with it? If there's never been the other option, if there was, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Maybe after the first 500 years, I was wrong. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, exactly. As we probably won't know until we can compare. I'm not a fan of death. I'm not gonna argue the pro-death side of the. But I do think the fact that we die and essentially that we lose other people along the way is one of the great human questions. That I don't think it has a solution. I've written novels with ghosts in them. I've written novels with the afterworld, and I've written transhuman novels, and they always kind of circle back around this. It's like, what do we do with the stuff that we can't do anything with? And every book is a conversation with that, but none of the books have an answer, really. And I don't know that technology is ever going to have an answer either. I mean, assuming we could do it tomorrow, assuming we could upload our brains into computers, does that change us fundamentally? Does it change who we are as people? Who are we without our sensory apparatus? Who are we without our bodies? I don't know. And it's always going to be some of us. We have never created a society where everyone is having the same experience. So there's always going to be some people who get it and some people who don't. And what does that do to us? So I think it's a fun fictional conversation to have. I don't think it's right over the technological horizon, but it's not my expertise, so I don't really know. I will tell you though, history of computing. They keep saying we're going to have a computer with human-like intelligence in 20 years. And they've been saying that since about 1950.
I also love that that's the standard is human intelligence. I'll wait till they get one that's past it. Give me the smarter computer. Mm-hmm. Well, you're writing about ghosts, so I think it's fair to ask, do you have some idea of what you can expect when death comes? Is it just the lights went out? I don't know what happened anymore. I'm not existing, but I'm not bothered because I don't know that there was ever a me, so it's not a problem. Or do you think that there is something beyond?
I don't know. I was raised Catholic. My sister used to say you can't ever recover. You can only reupholster. And I'm still, in a sense, a person of faith, but I'm more like a seeker who hasn't found anything. And every once in a while, I write stuff down about that. So I don't know. I think about it quite a bit. The more so since my sister, who I was just talking about, died 15 years ago. God, doesn't seem like it should be 15 years ago. But yeah, so I didn't start being obsessed with death then, but it certainly didn't help, And I've been very ill, and I've seen people die. I'm a kid who grew up I went to university in the early 90s and, hung out with the gay boys, and a lot of them died. So I've seen it all my life. And I don't know what we do with it, and I don't have any idea what's next. I think the people who do have some idea what's next have basically just convinced themselves, and they win. The people with faith win. They have great comfort in, knowing that they're going to some kind of beautiful next world where God loves them. That's great. They win. Doesn't seem to be something you can just will yourself to have. It's, once you start doubting, it's hard to get rid of that.
It does strike me as fascinating that that in some death situations, your brain will trigger a release of DMT, so you'll begin hallucinating. And so, some people will be dying. Oh my God, I really do see there's Grandma up there in the clouds with the harp, and I'm coming, Grandma, let's do this. And even if that's just a moment of hallucination, and then boom, consciousness obliterated, don't worry about it. What a nice thing to have.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's like, good job, neuroscience. Absolutely. You have to wonder about that from an evolutionary point of view. It's like, what was it? Like, if you just consider evolutionary pressures, if really nothing exists that isn't either random or adaptive, right? Which is a big open question. I don't know. What is that adaptive to? Why would you want death to be pleasant? But it seems to be. Everyone I know who has ever worked in hospice or who has been around a lot of dying people says it's usually peaceful, even joyful. And I'm like, okay, well, very glad to know that. That sounds nice. But the scientist in me is like, the little antelope that's running away from the cheetah and then it gets snatched. Is it having a joyful death? And if so, why? Because wouldn't it want to keep struggling and keep running away just on the chance that might work? Wouldn't terror and fear be better adaptive?
Maybe they have overwhelming kindness. I saw you over there looking hungry. I'm so glad you're going to get to eat. How satisfied are you going to be after I'm in your tummy?